Good afternoon, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. This is Rich again, back for your second video blog of the day for August 25th, 2014, around 3:25 p.m. in Billerica, Massachusetts. Very nice and sunny day. Highs in the 80s, and the humidity is getting up a little bit. Tomorrow's going to be another one of these days. More humid, and Wednesday we could reach 90 degrees. Could be probably be the fifth time this year to reach 90 degrees, but a chance of thunder showers, and then this could be the last day of 90-degree weather, and then it's going to be back to normal. One little tidbit to report: the Ottawa Senators has re-signed goaltender Craig Anderson to a 3-year contract extension worth $12 million. That's about it for the news. My next subject is my personality profile of the day, and it's about Ed Harding, who is the main anchorman for wcvb Channel 5 News out of Boston. He's been the main anchor for the 5 p.m., 6 p.m., and 11 p.m. news since 2004, and he's probably the biggest anchorman in Boston today, style-wise. Ed Harding graduated from Emerson College in 1975, and he started off on television in Minnesota on KMSP TV as an assistant sports director and anchor for about a year. Then he worked for WPTZ TV out of Plattsburgh, New York/Burlington, Vermont, for 2 years as a sports director/anchor between 1975 and 1977. Then he became the sports director and anchor for WDSU TV out of New Orleans for 3 years, 1978 through 1981. Then he moved to Indianapolis, Indiana to be the sports director at WISH for 7 years, from 1981 through 1988, and he won several awards as Indiana's best sportscaster. And at his time on WISH, he produced several sports programmings, including the local Indianapolis 500 preview for WISH. Plus, in 1984 through 1987, once the Colts moved from Baltimore to Indianapolis, he hosted the Indianapolis Colts Coaches Show and a preview show for them as well. And also for 4 years, he was a reporter and color man for Indianapolis Colts football game on the radio. And in 1988, Ed Harding moved to Boston to become the weekend sports anchor and reporter for WCVB Channel 5 in Boston. He worked the sports department for about 12 years. Then in 2000, he moved his talents from the sports department to the news department. He became the principal male anchor for WCVB's News Eye Opener in 2000, and his star was rising in the news department. Boston TV is known for a lot of sports anchors moving over to the news department. In the past, such luminaries as Brian Leary, Scott Wally, and Gary Gillis worked for their sports departments, but they ventured into news reporting and anchoring, and Ed Harding was no exception. He was pretty good at it. His star was rising. In 2004, and he added the 11 p.m. newscast for WCVB News Center 5, and his star was rising. By 2007, with the retirement of Natalie Jacobson as the anchor of the 6 p.m. newscast on WCVB Channel 5, Ed Harding got promoted to principal anchor for that newscast, and he had to give up the eye opener, but he's continued on as the 11 p.m. news anchor as well, and he's probably the biggest name for news anchors in Boston sports and Boston news today. In 2009, he hosts a Sunday morning political show on WCVB TV Channel 5 called On the Record. It's co-hosted by WCVB's political reporter Janet Wu, and it talks about Boston politics. It's every Sunday morning at 11 a.m. and it's a popular show. And Ed Harding's probably the biggest name in Boston TV news now because he's so popular and stuff like that. And he's probably one of the best sports anchors who converted over to newscasting, and he's doing pretty good. And after he did it, there's been a few others like Gene Levancion, who was the sports director of WHDH TV 7 in Boston for years. When he got released in 2003, he moved to Fox 25 to become the morning anchor, and he's still doing it. And also Mark Ackerblum, who was a sports reporter for NECN and Fox 25, he converted over to a news anchor in around 2006 or so. Boston's known for that, and they're doing pretty good with converting sports anchors to newscasters. I wonder if they would have done it with Bob Lobel or Don Gillis or the Great Gamir. I don't know if they would have been good news anchors. You never can tell. And I think Ed Harding's probably one of the best in television today for local news reporting. He's won many awards for most popular newscast in Boston for years. And that's about it on that. My third and final video blog of the night will be about, I have ideas for the WWE Network about how they could do programming and some original programming ideas. Okay? I'll see you later, Facebook friends and YouTube followers. Bye now.